Right, we're in S6, traction off. Just seriously, anyone that doubts SMG, just watch that bit again. There's nothing wrong with it, my God. Epic. Welcome back, guys. So the SMG gearbox, it gets a lot of negative comments on the internet, and I really don't get it. But yeah, it's 17-year-old technology now, isn't it? So yeah, when we live in a world of instant gratification with the likes of DSG, DCT, PDK, obviously, you know, it's not going to be to the same level, is it? But SMG really can still hold its own when you learn to use it. That's the thing, and a lot of people just don't seem to understand how to use SMG effectively. I honestly believe a lot of the negative comments do come from people either don't own a BM with an SMG box in it, or they maybe test driven one for a short period of time and just thought, yeah, it's no good. And yeah, that's where the negative comments stem from, I think. But what you have to remember is it's 17 years old, and tech has come a long way in 17 years. I mean, as an example, 17 years ago, Nokia released the 1100 phone, not the 1210, the 1100. It's a brick. And you compare that to like an iPhone 12, it's not a good comparison, is it? I think that kind of puts it into perspective just how advanced SMG2 was back then. But even now, people are still comparing SMG to the latest DSG and DCT. You can't compare the two. They're just so different. It's not apples and apples. But the thing is, it can still hold its own when used properly, and that's the problem. People just don't seem to understand or know how to use it properly. Until you own one and you drive it and you live with it and you learn the quirks of the gearbox, when you get to that point, you understand what SMG is all about, and it is as effective as you need it to be. Anyway, let's go for a little drive, and we'll talk about it some more. Now, I've heard some people say that SMG can be a little bit clunky and slow when it's cold. I haven't really found that. I haven't experienced that. To be fair, I do always let the car warm up religiously before I start to thrash it. But yeah, I haven't really noticed any kind of slowness in the SMG under normal use. You should remember that the technology used in the SMG is basically the same as what was found in the Ferraris and the Lamborghinis of a similar era, like the 360 Stradale, the robotized manuals. But the interesting thing is that Ferrari and Lamborghini never got any of the bad press that BMW did with the SMG. I wonder why that is. Now, there are two different kind of maps with the SMG, depending on if you had the regular M3 or this, the CSL. Obviously this is the CSL, so this is the one I've got experience of, but regardless, you always had S1 to S5, which were the settings that you could choose from below the gear selector. See, shifts perfectly. Anyway, S1, it pulls off in second gear. I've never even had this in S1. S2 and S3 are your typical settings that people use when you're just driving around town doing your weekly shop, as you do. S4, now that one is, what I mean now actually, that one is pretty much your standard for me, your standard driving setting. It's quick enough, it's not too kind of harsh on your back or the subframe, and it changes adequately and fast enough. Then you've got S5, which is for when you're kind of tramping on, and S5 really does slam the gears home much quicker. It almost feels a little bit less mechanically sympathetic. But now I'm in S4 and it's absolutely fine. I can't complain. If I were to switch it up into S5, close the window a little bit. This is a notoriously bumpy bit of road. You won't see it on the GoPro because it's stabilised, but my teeth, my feelings are being shooken out at the moment because the CSL does have rather firm suspension. Anyway, that's nothing to do with the SMG. So yeah, it's now in setting 5. You can feel it just change so quick like that. As you're attacking the corner, I'm in 4th, change up straight away into 3rd. Effortless speed, gear changes, just, I wouldn't say they're as fast as DSG, but you don't need them to be any faster. Honestly, this is just, yeah, plenty quick enough. Then there is also S6. Now S6 you can only access when you've got traction off. press the traction off button and then it appears here. Now S6 is really like S5 except with added Red Bull and Stella. It makes your M3 very angry, and the gear changes just absolutely slam themselves home. So just driving slowly along. I'm in S5 now, which is definitely not the best setting for driving along slowly in. You keep your foot down when you change and it just deals with the gear change for you straight away. There are two camps, those that lift when they change gears and those that don't. Must admit, I do still lift a little bit on some occasions. I just find it helps with gear change a little bit. I think if I'm really kind of tramping on and I'm in S5 or S6, then yeah, especially if you're on track, you don't need to lift. You just keep your foot down and it will just put the gears where they need to be in no time at all. I think it changes gear in something like 83 milliseconds, and I believe that, I really do. Okay, so I'm in S6 traction off. Let's see how we do. Ooh, and brake for the speed bump. Ooh, and go. Yeah, foot flat down in S6, absolutely fine. No complaints. My GoPro attachment has left the building. Deafen them. Sorry. So if you don't like SMG in your standard M3, then you can get a CSL remap. Evolve Automotive do them, and it just basically livens up your software. The main difference you'll notice is that you then start getting the blips, because this, again, you have to learn how to use it, but depending on if your foot's on the accelerator or not, you'll get different kind of reactions when you upshift and downshift. So if I drop a gear now, it will rev if I've got my foot on the accelerator. If my foot's off the accelerator, it still does it, but it just blips it. It's not to the same extent. Now if I lift, that was alright. I can't really go faster here because it's a little village. Whereas if I have my foot firmly down, the gear will just straight home. Right, so we're going to do a test now. This is S6, which is the most aggressive setting. Traction off, sport on. I'm going to keep my foot flat down, and let's see how quick it changes. Instant, it's fine. No issues with that at all. Yeah, right, it's not going to be as fast as your PDK, but plenty fast enough. And that sound, the revs, the blips, you probably can't even hear me now. This is a particularly good section of road because you've got walls on either side of you. So if I just keep my foot on the accelerator and drop it down, you get that blip, foot down, no problem at all. Especially going down in fourth and third, it's just instant. In S6, you can kind of feel the subframe cracking as you're doing it, but it's worth it for the noise, isn't it? Apparently the gears change quicker when you're going through tunnels. Yeah, I'll say done. Yeah. So you've got the stick shift down here and you've got your paddle shifts. On mine I've got these lovely aftermarket metal ones, aluminium ones, and in the morning it just feels so nice to the touch. The kind of icy cold makes it feel more kind of clinical, more mechanical. The standard ones are fine, but just something about these, it makes it even more of an event to drive this thing. Right, we're in S6, traction off. Just seriously, anyone that doubts SMG, just watch that bit again. There's nothing wrong with it, my god, epic. So you do also have an auto mode, which I've never used and I never intend to. I've tried it once and I was appalled. I think, yeah, the people saying they don't like SMG, I get that in auto. I completely understand why you would not like your SMG in auto. But yeah, in normal manual, there's no reason not to like it. It's plenty quick enough. Some people say that with the auto, it actually can do as much damage to the box as having it in S6 and just slamming gears constantly home, because it slows through the gears apparently, and it's not great for the SMG. It's much better literally just keeping your foot down, changing gear, and you can't go wrong then. Right, for argument's sake, I'm going to put it in automatic. Let's see what this is like in automatic. I guess I'm going to turn traction back on again and switch over to auto. Right, it's in S3 for auto. Just drop straight to 1. In traffic now, so we'll see what this is like. Ooh, that was slow, very slow. Yeah, it changes up way too early. It changes up at like 3,000 RPM. I guess it's going to be down to your driving style as well. Like if you put your foot down, yeah, it holds it then. That's up to 4,000 RPM. Didn't change then. Let's try and put it into S4. In fact, let's go S5, see what it does in S5. It's in 3rd gear now, automatic. I'm reckoning S5 is just going to hold the gears. It's not going to let you change gear, but we'll see. Okay, so it blipped it. It went from 3 to 2 then, rather than 3 to 1 like it did in S3. I don't feel in control. Oh, so it holds 1st gear into the roundabout. Okay. All right. Okay. So S5 in automatic, it's not actually as bad as I thought it was going to be. I definitely still would prefer to change at different kind of revs, but put my foot down again. Yeah, it doesn't suddenly change without you kind of expecting it to in S5. Definitely more acceptable. But again, I'm firmly a believer that it just defeats the object, it defeats the point having it automatic. I keep feeling like I need to change, but it's right, it's done it for me now. Ooh, no, didn't like that. I was reluctant to change into 3rd then, which is a good sign. So I've taken over. Back in manual again now. I feel I probably could drive this in auto, but again, you'd have to spend quite a lot of time just learning it, learning when the gearbox is likely to change. It's a bit random really. But yeah, at least I've tried it now. Nice. Alright, so in the interest of an unbiased review, what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave it in auto. Come on, change to 1. Doesn't like hill starts this. And I can hopefully floor it a little bit down here in auto. I think we're in S5, we are. Right, so let's see what it's like. Auto now, we can floor it. Oh, what? No! Okay, it just doesn't want to change out. I had to brake then because there's a slow M140 in front of me. Right, I'm going across in the manual again. That's reassuring, it did hold it. I think S5, it's animalistic, it probably does want to keep it all the way up to 7,000 RPM before it will change up. That's good to know. But yeah, I don't like not knowing when it's going to change. I'd much rather be in manual like I'm now in S5 in the manual settings, and I feel more in control. Yeah, no, I'm going to leave auto. Thank you, but no thank you. I think one tip with the SMG is when you're on a roundabout, use the stick, the gear lever down here rather than the paddle shifters. It's a little bit kind of clumsy, I find sometimes, because obviously they're attached to the steering wheel. If you're going roundabout, sometimes it's a little bit like, you know, you changing up or down. At least here you know what you're doing, you're not going to miss your gear shift then. But that's my only real criticism, and that's not bad given, you know, SMG gets slated to so many haters online. There really is no reason to hate this thing. It's amazing, you just learn to use it, and it's a great system. Even 17 years on, I find it's probably just as engaging as it would be with a DSG. And because it's just more mechanical, there's more drama to it. The DSG, it's just like bam, done. This, you get that kick in the back. There's more feel to it. I think it'd be rude not to try S1, wouldn't it? Oh. Okay, let's try S1 then, shall we? Doesn't really feel that much different, to be honest. Ooh, potholes. Oh god, yeah, really slow. Just like grandma slow. That's just no good at all. It feels broken in S1. Let's go into S6. Press some buttons to unlock it. Right, S6. In comparison, it's a coach. Yeah, that's just, you can really feel it in your back. And like I said earlier, probably the subframe too, but wow, just wow. So that was my very unmechanical review of the SMG2 box. If you're thinking about it, don't worry about it, just go out and get one. You're not going to regret it. You just learn to use it. There's really nothing wrong with SMG2. If you really don't get on with it, then just take it to Evolve or one of those other companies. They'll remap it, put the CSL software on it, and then it really will just be absolutely perfect. You can then use it around town easily, but equally you want to take it on track, you can, and it'll perform as well as you need it to. I can guarantee that. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the thumbs up, consider subscribing, drop a comment, and I'll see you again soon.